Today we are here with Gonzalo de Aristegui. He's a Teriyaki Madness franchisee based out of Atlanta, Georgia. He has one open shop and two more in development, and he's seen some substantial growth in his sales over the last year. So we're gonna talk to him today about how he's done that and a little bit about his franchising journey. So to start off, can you tell me a little bit more about your background? What were you doing before becoming a franchisee? And then why did you choose Teriyaki Madness out of all the other brands?
Well, I was in the corporate world for 20 years. I was working with Coca-Cola and international. So it was all over the world, in Mexico, China, Germany, Spain, the US. Um, I did a lot of marketing, a lot of special events, like the Olympics or soccer, things like that. I was in marketing as well and did launch vitamin water in China. Was my last stint over there. I returned to the US and became an entrepreneur, and really was looking for something sort of to fit my lifestyle and that I could carry some experience from my beverage world. So started looking at restaurants. I had one already and was about to open a second one, more formal dining, and went to a franchise show. And somebody said, "Let me do like a little profile of what you do to see what you might fit your needs and interests." So he gave me a few options. Teriyaki was one of them. So I got on a plane with my son, and we tried it and we got hooked with the food and the positioning of the brand. We loved the the everything surrounding the brand and the way that it was communicated. So that was how we started, really. And I think that's one of the key mysteries of the success of the brand is that the food is really, once you try it, it's kind of like sells itself. Oh.
Yes, absolutely. And then sounds like you had pretty rich background, both in marketing and beverage sales and all that, and then also with your other restaurants. So how did you use that experience when you went into opening your own TMAD, and how did that help you out with your experience?
So I wouldn't jump into a restaurant like TMAD if I hadn't had restaurant experience before. I just wasn't, confident enough.
Mhm.
I was looking for somebody. I had a partner that had owned 5 restaurants, and I was kind of going in there thinking, okay, he's done it. So if I get stuck, I can always pull from his experience. But it wasn't necessary, actually. It was a lot easier than I envisioned. Um, mm, Dealing with a restaurant, like a formal restaurant, is a lot more difficult, has a lot more moving parts, a lot more suppliers. It's just a lot harder to manage.
And you still have those restaurants, the
We
formal.
do. And we're growing. We're opening a new Italian one next month,
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
northwest of the
Uh,
city. So yeah.
3. Nice. Good work. And what is your son's involvement in all of this, both TMAT and your other concepts?
So the whole family is working with me, either in one of the restaurants. One of my sons is working there, um, helping 3, 4 days a week, and everybody else is helping with deliveries. I mean, we're so busy with catering that we need 3, 4, 5 drivers some days just to be able to fulfill all the catering deliveries.
That's awesome and a good problem to have.
Yes, no doubt.
Okay, so I have a question. So I saw your sales are up almost 50% year over year when I looked a couple days ago, which is phenomenal. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What are some of the best practices you instilled to make that happen?
So we were kind of stuck in a sales level that was, we were not even break even. So I had to figure something out. So we weren't gonna get through it just by cost cutting. So we had to find a way of growing. So I really focused on what I already had. So it was the delivery apps. So I started promoting and doing that on the delivery apps to see if they would grow. It took a little while to build until the algorithm would pick us up. Did something similar with Easy Cater, was sponsoring the shop and putting the rewards and all that. Again, that was probably at a loss because we were investing maybe 15% in all those things, plus whatever they charged. But it started growing pretty quickly, and now we're on Easy Cater, we're at over 100% versus last year. So
Wow.
that's really good, and we're at 550 orders already. So we'll probably end up the year over 600, plus the other catering. So yeah, we're whatever that is, a couple of hundred on non-Easy Cater, I'm guessing. So
Gotcha. So you really leaned into the catering piece of the business.
yes, a lot.
Beautiful.
One of the things that we did is I looked at other franchisees, that how they were successful, and I looked at my sales on weekends, were definitely the weakest of my week, to use the word. And I saw that many of the deliveries that they were doing during weekends were car dealerships. So we concocted a plan to start giving free food to the car dealerships. So we started reaching out to all the car dealerships in the northern area of the city, giving them free food. They loved it, and we now have a bunch of big dealers on the rotation, which on some cases, on some Saturdays, we've doubled our sales, which is great because now it brings it sort of on par of some of the other weekdays. So that's been very helpful. And the idea is that we have a good balance between like Uber, Easy Cater, DoorDash. Not that many coming through the door, because we have very little parking space. So even though we rotate and they move quickly, but the out of the four walls is really working for us, and it's driving the business very strongly.
I love that you looked at other TMAD franchisees, tried to figure out what they were doing right so that you could also do that. And then you just kind of took it and ran with it. And here we are, more than almost 50% up year over year. So congratulations. That's awesome.
Yes, and we've seen, like Allison said, with other franchisees, utilizing that catering has been just a big help, a big push this year, especially with our catering initiatives, kind of being improved within the system. And like you said, it gets the food into people's mouths, it gets them hooked, and then eventually that will turn over into more foot traffic, which is great.
Exactly.
What would you say, besides you were mentioning being a little stuck in your sales earlier, what else did you struggle with when you first opened your shops, and how did our support team help you through it?
Well, I was struggling a little bit with labor. There were some turnover, people asking for more after a while, and they don't want to really get new people to have to retrain and all that. So you kind of sometimes concede and give them a little extra, but that's very complicated when you're not really break even. So that was kind of like a little conundrum, and had to figure out something to do. So yeah, we had to get rid of a manager. I know Kevin didn't like our original manager. He was like taking more care of himself than the business. And that was a key thing. And I think it also helped drive the catering explosion, because he was doing all the deliveries and was focused on doing that rather than grow the business. So yeah, Kevin was great. He would give us insight on things that he saw that didn't quite fit. So that was one of his recommendations, was kind of like a hard move to do, because it was kind of what was giving me the liberty of focusing on the other things that I needed to focus on. And didn't want to jump back into the operation, which I used to do a lot at the beginning, spend 5 hours on a Sunday morning on the grill, to cover when the business was really, we had a peak and had to cover for somebody missing.
And are you happy with what your decision?
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Love it.
Good. So you mentioned Kevin was kind of helping you out make some of those decisions early on. Combined with it between him and the rest of the operations team and your business coach, would you say that that's been very helpful for you to have to kind of bounce ideas off of and get advice from? Or which part of the support suite would you say you use the most?
I mean, there's some people that really are like the rock stars for us. Anna, for sure. Every time we had issues with our online or our POS, it was great. The people at logistics as well. Um, I've been running around with coaches because they changed quite a bit. So when I started, I got a new coach, and that coach left like 3 months after. So we got Kevin, but everybody wanted Kevin and had Kevin, so he couldn't stretch himself too much. But he was great. I mean, he was really, really fair and really pointing out things and helping us and get better and make sure that our operation was where it had to be. And then Randy also stepped up and, did one of the deep dive things that was great because, he was the trainer that helped us open, but then he also helped, identify some of because he did one of the deep dive audits.
The visits.
A lot of things that we weren't really paying that much attention, he would. And I think that also helped refocus sort of what we did. We created like a little new operations procedures, sort of enhancing what we had on the daily manager's book.
Mhm.
Make sure that everybody is being a part of doing all the tasks that were needed.
Absolutely. So as far as your long-term business goals for as a business owner, either both it could be in TMAD and with your other concepts, where do you see your future going?
Well, I would love to establish a good base of TMAD restaurants now, because once you run one and you have others, it's so much easier. To the point that the lease that I'm probably about to sign today is is 20 yards from my first restaurant. So one of the
Amazing.
reasons is that I build already the demand, so
Mhm.
I'm a lot more confident that I'm going to start at a higher level when I open. But the other thing is my fine dining restaurant opens for dinner. So I can use all the staff that goes there at 2 p.m. to help open and work in the morning shift. That's going to help, you know, sorry, help, smooth out the transition, have people that I know for many years that have been working there and are
Mhm.
happy to make the extra hours. So I'm looking forward to be able to realize that and operation and get the operational benefits.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Ching, who's a franchisee here in Denver, she just has TMATs, but she really moves the employees around based on where they're needed. And these people have been with her for almost 10 years, 9 years, and
Right.
they're happy to either help open shops or take different shifts or all hands on deck for a big catering order at one of the locations. And so I know it's very helpful once you get to that point to really use employees everywhere.
Right. I mean, and just thinking of training, I mean, you don't have to wait until the people from corporate come over. You can just bring people to your existing restaurant and have them practice there for a little while. You're not subject to such tight deadlines, and you can smooth out the process a lot.
That's a good point.
Mm.
Absolutely. Well, I hope everything with the lease signing goes well today.
Let's go.
Last question. What's the most valuable thing you've learned since joining the madness?
Oh, I think that stay focused. I mean, there's a lot of times when you hit a rough patch that you're thinking, what am I doing? Uh, and you just have to persevere and stay focused, and do what you know that's going to work. I mean, it just learn from other people. I think that the network of franchisees has been great. I mean, like, learn a lot from Drew over in Ohio, and Aaron has always been a great resource, always willing to pick up the phone. Tim McCurry, same thing. When I was about to open, I needed some information, data. He was, happy to spare some time and help me out with my calculations and things. So the franchisees are by far the best resource that you have. I just wish that I was a little bit more, had more time to reach out and ask for some more things. So
And it's good to hear that the franchisees all are able to communicate and lean on each other, and depending on what part of the process they're kind of in, whether that's opening or, on to their
Yeah.
next stop. So that's good to hear.
Yeah,
Great
another
words
thing
of wisdom.
was on catering. I looked at what Max in Houston was doing, and I look at the little red thermo bags that he has. His have the little TMAD logo, which he does himself. But he sent me the brand and everything, and I bought some. Now I've got like 20 bags, and it's a game changer because when you have to deliver a lot of stuff and you cook the things, you got to keep them at temperature. It was so important to be able to put them in there and keep them warm and at the safe temperature to deliver to your client.
Absolutely. Well, these were great words of wisdom. Gonzalo, thank you so much for taking the time today. This is super helpful for franchisees and prospective franchisees. So thanks again. Jenna, thank you as well.
Pleasure. Okay, Allison.
Have a great day.
Thank
You
you.
too.